碾碎它。 全军出击！一看，新的知识。我到过虚空，又回来了。 谁中了我？
防御塔筑层即将脱落。
平地而起，上吧！辜负了你，自投罗网。
Red team has scored an ace.
行动！千兆防护！
河然若水。
伐木之雷！用你的烈火和脸来感受我的。
这里还有一张台。
涡轮震荡飞弹！
要撒车干嘛？自己我会好好利用你的苍白。
传奇之舞。
先作战。
Guess who's done learning German? That's right, it's me. I'm back. Hello. Let's talk about some League of Legends. I saw that WE never had a very good early game. We're into 25 minutes though, and early game is over. FPX just took a very good fight. Let's see if they can take another one. WE going towards that Baron. They have themselves Soul Point as well. Assume off to the side. Not there for a contest. Jue and Sheer were both dead. They'll trade for an outer turret instead. Actually, the double globals made things a little difficult. Soon caught out of position. Here comes Shadow. Monkey now left alone a little bit. Cad doesn't have flash and will not be able to make himself make his way out of that one. WE getting pretty much everything they came for, and they spot on the sweepers. Everyone in the brush. Monkey had a fantastic game so far on the Pantheon, besides the, you know, the one int he had a little bit earlier. 10, 3, and 8 on the Pantheon. WE been playing very, very well around the very reliable setup of Pantheon and the Nautilus. They throw some CC at you, it tends to fall apart. Gotta say, not been a big fan of how Care has been playing this game. He is someone who I think is a top 5 Ahri player in the world on individual Ahri mechanics, but right here, this game has been very poor from him. Karis has been massively outvaluing. And of course, WE's bot lane been playing very well too. Taeun, a player who's been gaining my interest more and more. And, of course, Vampire, the old enemy in the bot lane. Having a good game. I will say it, he's having a good game. Let it not be said, I don't give credit where it's due. I will just also flame him when he ends as well. So you watch yourself, young man. Dragon up in a minute. And WE looking to capitalize on an already very good game with a soul for themselves. Ocean Soul. Right, I need to go figure out some chats on the other sides. Oh, hang on a second. Flash forward. Vampire missing the hook, but still has his ultimate. Crash down over the wall. Vampire trades flash to flash, but if you're trading flash with a carry, I think that's always worth it. See him on the Kai'Sa. Real win condition here from FPX. Needs to find a way to somehow clean up. Sheer ults through the knockup from the Talir. Wanted to avoid that. Hook now lands onto the Rel. That's not really the best target, but it will be a kill. Over the wall is the Neferi, but can't really find a way in. And Assume didn't have the cleanse and doesn't have a way up. Shadow can't find his way into the backline well enough. And WE just gonna hit them with the wallets, really. I think in another world, that could have worked out poorly for them. The FPX, they do not have the damage to punish. Dodges out on some damage. Cube will take aggro, but it less combat stats for them. Level 4 now, level 4 to level 3. Yeah, Assume and Dre have to be very respectful of the wave. Triforce Trundle? Yep, that is your common first item. Sometimes called the Sundered Sky first item, but Triforce has forever been a Trundle classic with a chomp. Guess he wants to be winning the 1v1 versus the Shinzao. Potentially even have threat onto champions like the Ambassador as well at points. That being said, you know, even if you ult the Ambassador, you know, I don't think it's the biggest thing ever. The Ambassador can often get away from you with the amount of dashes she has. Did you just say Genji? Firex in Reaper, that's a hell of a name. Oh, yeah, is that a Mass Effect thing? Or is that a different thing? Anyway, welcome to the channel. Dragon started, W will be quickly taking that. Man of that Dragon and Grubs, very different timers now. Shadow going towards top side, there is a Scuffle spawning there, but not that soon. Won't get hit level 5 with the Dragon. Is a camp behind, gonna lose his Krugs as well. Assume and Dre needing to keep the wave on their side. No one's coming to help them. Vampire's not going back around the side of the wave. Need to... Now, the thing is for Assume and Dre... where's the pillar? That could be a problem. Comes through. W, great interrupt from Dre. That's the only way they could make it out alive. And then Assume... I don't know, buddy. Just don't walk back and forth like that. Tayo, what are you doing, my boy? Goes down. 80 carries both getting a kill. But Assume just backstep back and forwards. Misclipping either side of the pillar. And dies because he doesn't realize how Trundle pillar works. You can't stand that close to the wall. It was a great interrupt from Dre. That W is the only thing which could have saved him. And he does very well, but Assume misplaying the individual mechanics. Monkey, well played with the pillar so far, showing an understanding of the pick. I think that Tiamat will be better for Tiamat, press the attack jungle. It does make sense. You go towards the Titanic Hydra later, and you very quickly proc the PTA pretty much instantly, right? Auto Tiamat Crunch, or auto Crunch Tiamat, I suppose, to get the slow off of the thing there. Tiamat was always a big jungle, the Trundle item, allowed you to wave clear and clear through camps very, very quickly. So it's a good shadow. I haven't cast Trundle in a while. I think that the champion has been sleeper strong for a while, though. Very good as a counter in some matchups. Very bad if he falls behind. Just offers a pillar and nothing else. No, but that's a good call out, though. Good insight. Tayo and Vampire switching up towards top side now, just before the Grub spawn. One of the big things about this current meta, with the different changes to Grub spawning at 8 minutes instead of 6 minutes now, is you do have a bit of an extended early laning phase, which is what we saw here, and it was leveraged well by Tayo and Vampire. Shadow farming up fairly well, even in gold though, because Monkey's been getting the kills, getting the gold off of kills on bot side. Level 6 for both junglers. Not familiar with Trundle. What does he do? Now, Trundle was one of the most popular champions in the game in seasons 6, 7, and around that kind of era. Maybe a little bit beyond and before that too. He shreds tanks with his ultimate. He's very good at picking people off randomly. Very good early fighting potential. He is one of the original Gremlin junglers who could just run at you once he hits like level 2, level 3, and make a mess of things. First grub taken by WE. No smite used. Well, smite was used actually, so Monkey does have that down. Shadow could go in. Ambassador coming up, on teleporting in now. He's going to have a good position. Soulfire's not that great. Vampire caught out in the front line, but still alive. That's a very good combo with a bullet time. It's an even better one with a shuffle. Where is the Ornn? The Call of the Forge God has missed their appointment, and they're a little bit late to the party. Karis goes down, and WE's early game is not nearly as good as it was before. Sheer flashes for the ultimate, and Vampire staked through the heart. It is a 5-kill fight for FPX, as they'll be able to claim the last grub as well. That Trundle, not able to get that much value in that fight. You know, it's one of the problems playing as a red side immobile team composition, right? You look at Trundle, no way to cross walls. Victor, no way to cross walls. And of course the Leona as well, unless you hit an enemy target, no way to cross walls as well. Means that they have their backs against this wall. Shadow steps forward, and there's no way to retreat. Ezreal getting caught in this too with no cleanse is a big problem. Great one-by combo. Great one-by combo. Double kill over towards Assume, who's now cleaned out of their early deficit. Flash away from the knockup. Ornn was too late. Ornn was way too late. This is awesome. Extra ult from Sheer as well to clean up the entire team ace. Lots of gold going over towards them. You know, the MF is ahead and has a cult. Jungle is now ahead with the Sundered Sky. And WE, for all their first clear was good, make a big mistake around that fight. Strategic mistake. I'm not going to call out any one person. I think that the positioning was hard. I think that the map state wasn't as good as they thought it would be. Maybe Cube teleporting late. Maybe that's the biggest individual mistake there. But WE just, for once, choosing a poor early fight, which they've been doing very, very well. Normally it's not the early game where they fall apart like that. Monkey going through top side. About even in terms of XP with Shadow now. Cat almost towards the Nash's Tooth, so we'll get much better at killing towers. All that effort put into bot lane just for MF to press ult. Yeah, there was no pillar to close off that ultimate then, was there? At this point in the game, it's a long cooldown. Has himself the Triforce spike now. So Trundle is actually very strong right now, by the way. Trundle with Triforce is one of the strongest item spikes I can think of in the game. And often go towards something like the Ravenous Hydra in top lane, but doesn't tend to from jungle. Most likely going towards Sundered Sky. Ooh, Vampire does have flash. Is he going to be able to force to use it? Taeyoon coming through. Teleport now coming in from the Victor. Is Sheer going to come down as well? Yes, he is. Vampire, not the primary target. A lot of damage onto them. Azir dies on the side of this 2K. Had flash. Somehow got caught into it. Big bullet time off of the public execution. Dre will go out. What's that? A 2 for 2. Jungle mid for jungle for mid support. Okay, I don't know how he ended up dying with flash up and available and also having his ult. Would have to have a closer look at that one. Dragon now likely going up to the side of WE. Assume good damage onto him. Onto Taeyoon, rather. He has the sustain. And Monkey will get that second Dragon for WE, so that's a much better fight for them. Rockstar, what the hell? Graves of South Africa, cool. You know, I've never ended up getting to that part of the world myself. My parents went there not too long ago. It was a very beautiful country. Also a quick shot as well. Chat to him every so often. It's fond memories of the place, of course, growing up there. First item now hit by almost everyone. Carrot's going towards the Black Fire Torch, by the way. No Roa Victor on this patch. So what happens here? What the heck happens towards the Azir? Was this the Trundle-Ornn combo with the knockup? Does he just get... yeah, he just gets blasted. He doesn't flash anything. He doesn't go towards the shuffle over the wall. Care bad positioning in towards that ultimate. Towards it in regards to the... No, the approach to the fight, not in terms of the ultimate. That was just me throwing out an extra word. Care need to have more care? Exactly. You'd think by writing it on his name, he'd remember it a bit more. Like, you know, sticking a post-it to the fridge or something. Assume about to hit... Cult completion. FPX still ahead in terms of gold. 2k up. Sheer's been getting a lot of value out of these fights. And WE don't have the best ability to side lane. You know, they don't have... The only way they really play side lanes very well is by collapsing with Vampire and Monkey onto a side lane. Quite hard to pick off the Ambassador and the Azir with the amount of mobility that they have. So I think FPX have a way to play the map a bit wider. WE do have the double dragons early though, so... In terms of objectives, happy. Okay, but the Nash is very happy in the side lane. Victor can wave clear out. And assume, can't really do much in this mid lane hit. The clap emote. Ping's on top side. Sheer is on the strong side of the map. Azir's gone back, got Merc Treads. That's very helpful in this kind of game, by the way. Very helpful. It means it is hard to full combo through with Leona and Ornn. Also, a lot of Ornn's damage is magic damage. So if he does manage to hit you with an ult, it will help you a little bit. Been very impressed with how Assume has been able to combo up with his ult since Misfortune. I think this guy has been one of the better MFs within the LPL. I don't love every AD carry on it. I think it does hide some of the skill that you can have on AD carries. But I think Asim's been getting good value out of it, so I care much less from his perspective. Okay. Clearing out through bot side. Presumably going towards Leandry's second. I think he's likely to go Leandry's into Zhonya's. Asim's walking up the river. I don't really think you take this fight. There's actually a chance that Sheer ults back here and potentially gets him into a bullet time. Herald spawn. Teleport in from the Azir. Teleported in from the Ornn. Everyone contesting over every objective right now. This is going to go down without a fight. Vampire now well out of position. Yes, the Ornn's coming through, but how much are they going to get from this? A lot of your cancels now for the MF are now down. You need a pillar and that's it. 3-man ult, but it's cancelled by the pillar. You don't have that pillar now. Where is the Azir? Where's that damage? Karras goes down. That's a big amount of damage with WE. Off the table, the shuffle comes through. Sheer caught out in the back end of the play. Maybe he needs a little bit of help. Where Shadow jumps over the wall, uses the Sundered Sky. That healing is frankly obnoxious. Shadow even gets out of the Brittle proc. Cube flashes forward, but he can't even get a clean kill. Taeyon is over the wall. Ends up being a 3-for-1, and FPS get the objective. The engages from WE are not well timed. See that Vampire's trying to get the you know, good front start to the fight, but clearly the follow-up is not in range. I think Cube and Vampire threw everything at Asim. They didn't get that much value. Asim then forced the pillar out from Monkey, which allowed the melees of FPX to play out that teamfight a lot more cleanly. Dragon now in 30 seconds. W would love to fight for that one, but losing all their big summoners, that's not looking great for them. Vampire's well out of position. He shouldn't be walking up like this. Not while his team's so far behind. I think that sometimes Vampire can struggle to realize when a play is going wrong on the fly. It's a very good pillar for Monkey. We did call that out as being a very important thing. Problem is, you don't have the pillar. Ah, Monkey tried to flash forward for the extra kill. You don't have that pillar for the disengage. Shadow, there's so much healing. Oof. Cube has to flash for the final kill as well. Play in the top side. Sheer doesn't have his ultimate. Assume's here. He doesn't have the bullet time just yet. And here comes Dway. Over-engage on the side lane. Assume for some reason walks into melee range of a Leona and a Trundle. That one is one for review. Not sure about that one. Sheer does die in the grand scheme of things, and because Assume walks into melee range, can't fire back the damage. WE will give up Dragon on the bot side. They will take themselves to turret on the top side. Wave clear ultimate coming through from the Ornn. Nash's 2 still doing good work on this bot side, though. He won't actually save the turret. Cap gets that ultimate, but Cube has himself a W to go unstoppable. Unstoppable, by the way. Not sure that'll really help, though. This means he doesn't have it for the Xin Zhao afterwards. So, kill tower on one side, and a kill tower and a dragon on the other. Herald now summoned bot side. Get a bop on towards the bot lane inner turret. Taeyon is actually now ahead in gold, by the way. 4 kills, all things said and done from the early fights. Herald took off most of the HP from that inner turret. Surprised that people aren't using the Herald onto the mid lane turret to break that open more. Seen a lot of it in side lane on this patch. Plants being claimed across the place. 12 to 13 on the board. So what happened here? Pillar went in towards Sheer. Did he pop the ultimate early? Did Monkey? No. Stun didn't land. E didn't land. So Vampire... You know what? In another world, Vampire missing those skill shots does end fights. It's the Ezreal that picked it up. I missed that, actually, by the way. You know, Vampire missing those skill shots. Very important there, actually. Especially onto a flashless Ambassador. I know it's a lot of mobility, but it potentially could have turned the play in the favor of FPX if Assume hadn't walked into melee range. Yeah, when I start casting Vampire, he does actually somehow start playing worse. I saw he was playing well in game 1. As soon as I put my microscope onto him, yeah, he starts playing like that. I'm telling you, man, it's the Observer effect. Shadow claims away the red buff. Jungle is even enough. Ah, Monkey's going towards Deadman's Plate. Yes. Common in jungle, I suppose. Feels a little bit bad versus the Azir, of course. Shadow going towards Cube. Doesn't have the flash. Needs to use the W onto the auto attack. Good damage from the Conqueror stacking from Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao does a lot of damage, especially with the Black Cleaver. Kaz now been given both outer turrets on the side lanes. Over 1,000 gold lead for himself. W have the tools to deal with an Azir. Yeah, got great Great backline access with the Leona combo on as well. Goreng, thanks for the follow, by the way. Now, I know of nasi goreng. It's very good food stuff. But I actually don't know what goreng means, if it has a particular meaning as part of that. No, Vampire is decent. Vampire is not the worst support in the LPL. I think Niket probably is, sadly, for me. So I really liked him on debut. But Vampire is definitely not the worst support in the LPL, which I think he was last year. By quite a margin, actually. Yeah, I'm a bit of a caster curse myself. Lord Dominate's regards in for Assume. Oof, that is a powerful MF, even though they are behind in gold. Trundle is going to get obliterated, as is the Leona. The Ornn, maybe not. Ornn is just Ornn, you know? But Assume has got better frontline damage than she has any right to be. 2 minutes until the next dragon. Goreng just means fried. Ah, good to know. Nasi goreng. Oh, this is fried rice. But okay, cool. In Malay, right. Cool. Good to know. Thanks. In fact, someone in every single chat gave me a tip on that one. Thanks. For those of you that don't know, I stream on Twitch, YouTube, and also restream on YouTube towards Onivia's highlight channel as well. So you can all enjoy some LPL action. Atakan is up. It is the Thornbound variety. Trundle clearing through top side. Has that second item. Shadow ahead in gold. Has that Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver alongside the Lord Dominate's regard for Assume. If Shadow hits a frontline target, gets the Black Cleaver stacked, and then Assume manages to get a decent ult onto them, they explode. I suppose it's not too different from, say, putting a Trundle ult on someone. Trundle, while you ult on target, remove something like 40% of their armor. And starts dragging some max HP down as well. Vampire, dragged out of position somewhat. Dwayne gets hit there quite hard. Dragon in 40 seconds. Sheer, a little bit caught out on bot side. Vampire roaming down is seen. Are we going to teleport into anything here? Care might need to, by the way. Has some... Oh, flashes out a potential Zenith Blade. It's a little bit of damage on the Vampire. Atakan spawning now. 20 seconds till the Dragon. The spot is going down. I mean, W, I don't think you want to do this. I don't even think you want to fight for Dragon, if anything else. Don't get shredded by the Atakan. The Atakan's not that valuable nowadays. Trabe on a flank. Has flash. Has ult. That's a solar flare. Don't know about that one. And suddenly everyone goes into the backline. The gravity field's okay. There's no cancels left for the MF. And WE, I'm left astounded. Good damage coming through from the Ezreal, though. Maybe that'll change things. 3-man Ezreal, even though Karras is dead, makes things a little bit of a question. Taeun, great damage, all things said and done. Monkey managed to get some value, too. W peel off of the Atakan. And they're really bailed out by their AD carry. Strange fight to take, though. Very surprised at that. Assume. Pushes in towards the mid lane. WE lose position on the Dragon. Why do they fight for the Atakan? Lost themselves to HP by being shredded by it. Bad positioning in terms of their flank vision. They didn't control where the Rakan was going to fly at them. WE should have been punished harder for that. Lucky to not get away with... Well, lucky to get away with only just losing the one, actually. Karras, after having a very good game 1, now at 0-4, been punished very hard by FPX. Ultimate's down on... Well, I say it's down on both sides. Karras didn't even get to use his cast on the last time. Shadow using that audacious charge to get out of the play. Taeun has his ultimate backup as well, because Ezreal always has his ultimate up for reasons beyond me. Assume does have flash and cleanse. Vampire spotted over the wall. Now we fight over towards the mid-wave. As God intended. Assume building towards a... what I seem to be Infinity Edge. You don't want to delay that longer. I know that is Essence Reaver very important. We're getting towards the point where you get Team Blue buff, which means that's less valuable. Karras gets himself the feats of Strength Boots. They're cheaper this patch, by the way. Bullet time not up just yet. Assume trying to get some damage through from the Bloodthirst hard trading. Dragon started. Sheer over the wall. Ultimate's coming back up again. No bullet time just yet. I wonder whether FPX can pull the trigger a little too early on this one. Here comes Sheer. Spotted out. Taeun can get some damage down. Care gets some auto attacks into Taeun. Forces the E out. Are we really flipping this? I don't know. I think the front to back is pretty good for WE. The call to Forge comes through and it's taken by Monkey. And they might lose the fight afterwards. Sheer gets into things. And here comes Dwayne. Magnificent quickness into the backline, but they don't kill off the Ezreal entirely now. The Empress gone down. Triple knockup from Cube. FPX fall for the Dragon way too early. They flip it and they lose. Fights come through. They're assumed taking a load of damage. Skill 3 himself. Next auto attack. We've got 3, he's got 4. Penta on the table for Assume. Flash forward from Teo, not what he wanted. And it could be the Penta kill for Assume. Misfortune takes their names. Pentakill for Assume, bailing out FPX from what I thought was an absolutely torrid team fight for them. WE thought they had it, given someone a silver platter, took the dragon, but they couldn't take down the Misfortune. All of their CC went onto different targets, and Assume gets a free fight. Starts with the dragon flip, front to back. Normally you'd assume that's a good thing. CC combo works well onto Cat, but it doesn't actually kill him straight out. You know, he has those Mo Treads, gets to remove a lot of that damage. Full of the auto attack uptime from Cat was massive. Does, of course, walk into the knock-up after that point. I guess kind of stuck into that melee range. Should have chosen his positioning around terrain a little better. But then, you know, all of this damage goes down, and it's not onto the MF. MF gets a quadruple from this. Assume... No, would have died, I think, to an extra Q coming through from Taeyun. Taeyun jumps forward and dies. Pentakill for Assume. Hell yeah. Atkan now up and available. He's 1,000 gold ahead. FPX, yes, they are down against that Mountain Soul point, which is a problem. Monkey has very good damage to towers, by the way. They'll go down very, very quickly. 8,000 damage team fight. I ran out of breath a little bit in that Pentakill call. Baroness started up by WE. Trying to force the issue. Care needs to recall and teleport back in. Teleport? Is that spotted out from shit? I don't know if it is. Well, it will be now. It's going down to low HP. Cube on the flank. Oh, miss from Sheer, and here comes the kill call. The forward god is a pretty good one. Shadow trying to tank up at the front line. Baron taken by WE. Karras gets a kill, and the Chaos Storm starts to reset. Shadow out of position. Assume dies. Care not there in time. And FPX didn't do their homework. WE walk away with the objective. 4,000 damage team fight from Taeyun. There'll be a bit of a push in towards the bot side. They didn't spot out that teleport in Fog of War. If you teleport onto a control ward, you can see it. FPX just didn't see it coming through. They didn't spot that on. I think that was the big killer for them. Didn't set up around the Baron. Very good objective call from WE. WE, they've been good largely at calling objectives. I say that. The Atacama was not good earlier. FPX, for all their gold leads, couldn't get in position that time. And finally, Assume actually did get into a good spot. What's Assume going towards now? Is he going towards an Edge of Night? Or is he going towards a Collector? I wouldn't suggest the Collector. Not in this kind of game with so many tanks. I prefer him actually going towards an Edge of Night, you know, if anything. Or the Essence Reaver. And you just don't spot the teleport coming through. Comes in way too late. So what happens here? Dway gets CC'd up in the front line. Doesn't really get onto the back line. Assume gets absolutely blasted by Vampire and Cube. He, of course, Cube and Assume used to be on the same team back on Rare Ransom for a while. Back in 23, I remember. Old teammates. Minute and 20 until Soul for WE now, if they were to take that. Decent Baron damage coming through. Great damage onto Dway. Jesus Christ, buddy. Skill shot accuracy from Taeyun is absolutely insane, as Dway should probably sidestep one or two of those. Care pushing out top side. Doesn't have the teleport anymore. I've no idea why FPX played that team fight out the way they did. Cube teleporting in. You should be able to see that in the Fog of War. Doesn't manage to get that much value. Taeyun, very good game on the Ezreal again, by the way. Pushing in as a 5-man unit on bot side. Care recalling. Choosing to give up a couple of towers. I don't think they would have been able to wave clear this anyway. Ship does have ultimate, only slightly ahead of Cube though. He's starting to give those upgrades to the rest of the team. 3.5 items for Taeyun, who has himself that Shojin. Now if he hits 2 Qs, he is basically reset. Inhibitor down on bot side. 20 seconds till Dragon. No teleports from... Well, there is a teleport from Ship, but no teleport from Care for him to reset if he wants to. He has that Void Staff, which is very good damage. Doesn't have something like a Zhonya's though to avoid the engage. Taeyun trying to proc that W. Here comes the ult. Seems fairly safe here. Not a good ult from Cube. That's bad. No combo up with it. Does that in a bad positioning. Sheer will take that vision cone. Helping achieve some kind of vision here now. Taeyun trying to get some poke down. Has been fairly effective at it so far. Good ultimate coming from Taeyun. Shadow has himself the GA. Good pillar. Very good damage onto Shadow. A little bit from Karis, a little bit from Taeyeon. Has himself the GF. He wants to stick around for a little bit. Dragon now getting started. Shadow should not be face-checking this. Why are we pushing in mid lane so hard? You are giving up Mountain Soul? But they just used the Ordle. What? They're going to take a mid lane in a turret, but trading that for Soul is not worth it. Not into the tank front line. The Ornn getting so much value from Dragons because he already gets tons of extra resist and HP from upgrading allied items. I don't get it. FPX's approach to objectives has been so poor this game. The Baron, the Soul, feels like they're just getting a bit panicked. On the other side, you know, Monkey just goes up to the objective, kills it down very quickly. Monkey going towards the Spirit Visage third, by the way, so extra healing. Sheer, once again pushed up on a side lane, and W want to see if they can force something onto it. I don't really think they can do that much here. I mean, I guess Leona is coming through. She needs to be a little bit careful. Gets out safely, buys up some time from the enemy team. Kara's recalling now. Now he's teleporting to the inner turret. Why would you use the teleport like that? That is such a wasted teleport. Do they think there was a big fight happening? It wasn't a flank teleport. Don't think it would have changed that much. Maybe it helps, and it doesn't help them save the mid turret. I suppose it does to a certain extent, but not that much. Some damage from Kara over the wall. Ultimate coming through. Assume flashes out. Sheer goes into the backline, catches onto the biggest target. It's a huge bullet time as reality stands still just for a little bit. 3 down, 4 down. Cube the only survivor. I miss a few words. WE missing a few HP bars. FPX find the fight that they were looking for. An EDG emote from the early years. Cube trying to teleport back and will do so. But they're pushing towards the mid lane. I wonder whether FPX think they can finish the game. I wonder if they think they can. 30 seconds on the carries. Assume as the Bloodthirsts to keep healing up. I think they should go for the game end. I think they should try for it. 15 seconds till Vampire. 1 minion left. But they're not pushing heavily. Waiting to see if they can delay the wave a little bit. Now it's stacked up. Coming in, full and foremost. Teleport coming in from Sheer. Cube, very, very tanky. Is he tanky enough? Vampire's pretty tanky too, but can he really do the damage he needs to? Get some CC down, but it's not under the turrets. Trying to clear out the wave, ulting the wave, and Taeyeon's alive. 1 tower is down. Taeyeon, how much can you do? Shadow has a GA, towers are down. He's doing a lot of damage. The Ezreal needs to clear. Kara has some Nexus, hitting the Nexus. Sheer comes back alive as well. Couple of more autos, and they can't finish it. FPX, they screw the Nexus kill. Taeyeon gets the triple. It's teleported into the base. WE, and then Nexus to Nexus will win the game. How did they mess that up? WE should have been brought to 3 games. But a messy ending from FPX as they think they can close the game will lead them into a 0-2 as well. Karis sent to 7 deaths, does not give a damn at this point. WE, not sure they deserve the 2-0, but they'll get it. As FPX throw their bodies at the next. Elkanon can be up there. Rookie in the Shy. And it is that Seraphine we did talk about. It's risky late game, and you've just given Sylas an encore to steal. Oh, Jesus, that Seraphine ult is so broken on Sylas for those who weren't around for Seraphine's release patch. Sylas broke that champion's ultimate in ways which we didn't realize at the time. The Seraphine's good in lane. Our Seraphine very good. But you've just allowed this Sylas to go God mode. Knight is in a draft where this Sylas can completely win you the comp. Now, I like what TT have together. It's good wombo. You have very good range. The Shinzao needs to play strong frontline very, very well. Okay, level 1. Anything planned for this? There's a ward been put down by TT onto enemy red buff. Defensive one on their Raptors as well. I mean, 1xN and Feather have got to do a hell of a lot of work in this laning phase to make this pay off. If they don't get a crushing lead and put down Elkanon later into the game, this is a very hard combo to play. You are going to get jumped on by Pantheon Global, Sylas on a flank, Nico engage. It is a big problem. It's a big problem. So you need to get ahead in terms of your laning phase. By the way, that's the new Spirit Blossom Ash skin. The one which has been used in all the promos and stuff. First time I've seen this one being played. Spirit Blossom skins, the new range of them. I prefer the originals. I think Ari Spirit Blossom is very good. Which one of the other good ones? There are a lot of good ones. Cassiopeia, Yone. The first double Q of the game from Feather missing. That's a problem. You really need to use it. In fact, this Nico gets the double Q blooming burst. So Feather already messing up the first level of the game, which is a problem. Look at this, the Q spam from Nico, so nasty. With Comet and Scorch as well. Really helps your laning phase out by a ton. Level 2 hit by the Kai'Sa and the Nico. Another Q lands onto Feather. Comet with it. And this duo, which is meant for laning phase, not getting the arm wrestle one early. 3 pushing lanes actually for BLG. Not getting the push in mid lane too. Gives Beitran some options. Removes some options from Xiao Huangren as well. Reminder that Xiao Huangren did play a little bit up in the LPL last year, I want to say. Last year. Can I explain these silence are cooldown? It's like 80 seconds, but you can't take the same ult for a while longer or something. Yes, you can't take the enemy champion's ultimate for a time which is calculated on the enemy champion's ult timing. So I couldn't steal lots of Karthus ults back to back, even though I had more cooldowns. You can steal, I guess, Zoe ultimate or Castin ultimate, something like that, a little bit quicker, right? The lockout is still there. There is a base cooldown for it. Xiao Huangren going to go over to the other side of the rift. Lots of pushing lanes for BLG. Need to be careful. Knight does ward out the top side. Xiao Huangren, hang on a second. No, you don't want to be hanging down towards the bot side of the lane, though, if that happens. It's going to be fine with the Q. Gets that out. Xiao Huangren is going to get spotted. Dodges back. Misses out on the Wind Becomes Lightning. Xiao Huangren not able to do much there. Going towards topside Scuttle as Rumble gets the bounce back in topside at level 4. Quite common to see that on the Rumble, by the way. Level 4, second level of Flame Spitter tends to give you better wave push than most champions top lane. Has the Conqueror as well for extended trades. A bit surprised at that. Now the level 4 coming from Beitran. Oh, his flash is engaged. 1XM gets the charm. Tower aggro, juggle a little bit. Passive is up and ready from Elk, and he'll be able to get one last auto attack, but can't quite get the kill. Ends up being a dead kill. 80 carry to 80 carry. Beitran misuses his E. The Q over the wall from the Nico is okay, but ends up being a 2-for-1. Beitran miscasts his E, flashes poorly. Gives a second kill over. BLG, this is not the first time they've failed these early dives in bot side. It happens again. It happened in their first play. Knight misses out on his E. The electrocute doing well. If that E had hit, I think Saturn would have died, by the way. Kill over to 1XN. No kill over to Elk. Instead going over to On. This is a disaster for BLG's early game plan. No, Beitran even said after his first series interview, you know, we got to work on our early game plans. I think it was Weibo their first series. It was. Split target Q. Cleanse and that heal. No ignite coming through from the Nico to cancel that. The passive did come through. Elk ends up taking aggro. Beitran, well, the less said about that one, the better. Doesn't get over the wall. Doesn't use his E right. Dies. Roots. Misses from On, but it was a flash away from Setup, so we'll call that one a dodge. It was on target. I think he hit as a minion, and Setup wasn't counting them well. Advantage gained in mid lane by the support run. The Shy, sorry, not the Shy. 1XN has boots. Yeah. The tier 2 boots are very, very helpful, because now he can dodge out and skill shots better, walk up for that extra auto attack. Already outranges the basic auto attack range of Elk's Kai'Sa. And suddenly, if he gets those slows down, the roots from the Seraphine get even more powerful. Bone plating shredded off of On there. BLG. They used to be the best team in the world of bot lane dives like that. The level 3, level 4 bot lane dive from junglers. No longer the case. It's been a while since they could get the most out of that. Volley close through the wave. Shield tanks up the Void Seeker. Beitran and River. Spotted out, though, by the Xiao Huangren. TT, of course, really wanting to score one back against Beitran. Beitran left their team. I am sure there is a sense of betrayal there, to a certain extent. Now, TT, they were struggling anyway, but they did have a record high finish in the last split. They beat BLG in a best of 5. They ended up finishing top 6, the best that Thunder Talk has ever done. And Beitron was a big reason for it. MVP in a lot of those games. We'll say, I think 1xN has been the heart and soul of this team now, ever since UCal ended up leaving. He was the previous bearer of that mantle. Knight has level 6. Going to... Hang on a second. You can steal the Ashe ult or the Seraphine ult. That'd be absolutely catastrophic for TT to give over. So even though they got themselves the early kill, still forced off that bot turret. Knight returning the favor to On, who roamed up towards mid lane. The first ult of the game from Knight could be absolutely devastating. You know, whether that is a Shinzo ult for survivability, or Azir, Ashe, or Seraphine for playmaking, any one of them could be game-changing. I'm trying to think actually which one you would want to go towards. Probably the Seraphine ult in ideal scenario. There is, of course, some cases where the Rumble ult is better. Technically higher damage over the course of it. You can pin someone into it. Where's Shun? Yeah, he's on JDG. Shun's on JDG. Now, the thing which happened with Shun is 1xN's rotated towards top side. 30 seconds till grubs. Ooh, he does hit that. Ooh, gets the shuffle back as well. First one of the game. Setup. So he can be forced to use that. Down to below a third HP. Still keeps his ultimate up. Doesn't have himself the teleport, though. And that's a problem. Knight lands that Q, lands the E, and the shuffle doesn't work. Solo kill for the Knight. The phalanx means nothing to the man in shining armor. Xiao Huangren watches his mid lane get absolutely blasted there. Of course, had no flash because On removed that earlier. Knight first ult steal of the game was important. Forced to set up out of the play. Is going towards the Leandries first. Feather doesn't have level 6 yet, it's worth noting. Neither does 1xN. They need to kill that first grub for him to get the XP. Root misses from On. No ultimate from Knight now to fight. Hoya gets some damage down. Forces the E out of Beige 1. Gets the empowered one out of him even. 3 grubs likely now for TT. Second one comes around. Flash forward. Xiao Huangren going towards the extra damage. The equalizer is good. Slows him down. The root is even better though from On. At least one will die here. On goes down. Elk uses ult a little bit late, you gotta feel, and he'll die too. The bot lane of BLG way too aggressive on that top side. Mispositioning as Beichuan, Knight, and Bin didn't want anything to do with that. Beichuan would like to go towards the grub steal now and will at least get that. Flashes away from it. Stops the 3 grubs going over. Big mistake from the bot lane of Elkanon though. The bot lane dive goes poorly. The first fight of the game for them goes poorly as well. On at least gets something out of that mid lane play by removing the flash from setup. But BLG's bot lane, they are not consistent. As much as I love the peak ceiling of Elkan On, they are not a consistent bot lane. So what happened here? Knight freezing the wave out, forces Azir to walk up further than he would like to, gets a great full combo through, and I think he even interrupts the shuffle from setup. He wanted to get that E out. That's the big change there. Doesn't have the E here again. Gets the Q for the slow, hits the chains after. Setup would have died, or at maximum forced the flash. Ends up not even getting that proto belt now built up from Knight. His next ult steal of the game. Doesn't have the shuffle available from the Azir. But all of the ults in this game are very, very good. While not all of them are top tier, I think the equalizer without burn items can feel a bit meh sometimes. Every single one of these TT ultimates is good for Silas, bare minimum. It's a question earlier, by the way, in terms of the charismatic players in the LPL. You know, Knight is not necessarily one of them. The thing about Knight is that he speaks a dialect of Chinese, which is quite hard to understand for a lot of other Mandarin speakers. It's quite rural. That comes from Pingqian. Same town as Yigang. That was the big storyline for them, right? But it makes it quite hard for him to understand for the Chinese audiences. Bin, he's very, very outspoken. Hoya might need to ult something. Equalizer stolen by Knight now. They're going to go for a big play trade here. I doubt it. On, doing a good job of roaming here. Kai'Sa left her clear alone. Knight stops the recall coming through. Equalizer for equalizer traded. Hoya goes beyond the wave now. Knight, if he gets a W onto target, 1k. Oh, the clone tanks up a little bit of that too. No flash available for Hoya. The Ashe arrow is not bad, but there's no aggro onto the Nico. Could still be a problem. Knight stays under turret, knowing that On could have died. Knight gets a kill. Good decision making by the mid laner, who's been on excellent form for BLG. Is inconsistently consistent the same as consistently inconsistent? That's a great question. Probably both mean similar things. One of them just sounds nicer than the other. But yeah, Knight, been on such great form for BLG. I think he's been the best performing member of BLG by far, despite the underperformances of been Wei, Elkin on. I think Knight has been the guy that, on an individual level, it's much harder to point fingers at. Had that one bad Azir game, for sure. Not been perfect from him either. I don't think it's been peak Knight either. However, I think largely, Knight has given a lot for his team to work off of. And sadly, the team's not always paid him back on that front. Needs to be a little bit careful here. Onyxan has the tier 2 boots, so he can walk up a lot quicker. The Rectrix as well, giving him some extra movement speed. I mean, Yukal was very charismatic for TT. Sadly, no longer on the roster. Went over towards the LCK. Doing fine over there. Elk. Oh, misses the cannon, actually, from having to dodge out on the beat drop from Feather. Is the beat drop? Can't remember. I think it's beat drop. Is it the high note is the Q? Yeah. And there's surround sound for W. Now walking up towards bot side. Uses passive to kill towers quicker. Stars one of the better tower takers in the game. Most of the play's gone already. Beitron can get a little bit more work done here. Hoya teleporting towards top side. Wanted to use the 2 grubs, rather. They're a little bit behind in terms of the actual tower damage. Wave will be... Another wave will be escorted in. Knight, how quickly can he get damage done with his passive coming through? Remember, you take plates and the tower gets tankier. Knight has a little bit of an advantage, and because he's very fed, should be able to take the turret first. So, first turret goes over towards BLG, and Knight gets a lot of solo gold from that too. Of course, the first tower doesn't give you extra gold now. Pantheon ult now into mid lane. 1xN needs to be careful. Uses that cleanse, uses that flash, uses an ult as well, but is it enough? No, it's not, because the Nico comes in to finish the job. 3-man unit, roaming gank squad comes through, and suddenly you don't have your bot lane player and Satab coming through, as is both solo laners though. A BLG. TT will sound the retreats after losing 2. And the pause comes through. And I don't know. Like to do this anyway. You can answer that when you feel like it. Which teams have won the most LPL championships in a row? Back into game though. Looks like everything's fine. 1xN and Feather have respawned. Might have just been a small issue. It's not RNG. I can tell you it's not RNG. EDG is one of them. There is another team as well. Hegra's got it. Yeah, you guys got that really quickly today. EDG and JDG, both having 3 in a row. JDG did it between 22 summer, then 23 spring and summer. Of course, Knight was there for 2 of them. 369 and Knavi were there for 3 of them, as was missing. They got all 3 of them. EDG was a little while ago before. Get the replay. Okay, so this is the replay of the big play coming through. I mean, this is why we said they have to smash lane. If they don't, the game becomes very unplayable. You do have good disengage from the arrow and the encore, but it's not enough to save you. No, global coming through from Beitron. Get a little bit of CC down. Elk can follow up. On, of course, when he gets towards Protobelt, but even stronger at playing towards this too. Very, very strong. Knight. Level 11 now. Can steal the Azir ult again if he wants to. Beitron doesn't have his ult, otherwise I would have called for a side lane play for them. Tad surprising that EDG only has 3 in a row. They've been kind of low-key running the LPL for ages. They did... Well, remember back when they were, back in like 2014 and so? There was still a split by LGD in 2015 summer. They were incredibly strong at that point. 2014, there was OMG and Starhorn Royal Club who are very powerful as well. And then, of course, then you go into like Season 7, 8, 9. And then they have the rise of RNG, IG. Yes, Knight did choose Rocket Belts first time. You do have a HP scaling as Silas. Also, Rod of Ages has been heavily nerfed. It's Going towards the Zhonya second, which I didn't expect. I didn't expect that Zhonya's. Would have expected the Cosmic Drive instead. Gives you, again, the HP to use from that. Bin, looks towards Foyer. The most I've ever seen from a Sylas. Had the Shinzo ultimate, knows he can get very, very fed in this one. Bin gets the extra CC onto the backline. Knight walks in, steps onto the equalizer, uses that ultimate. The extra damage, make sure he can't get damage from over the wall too. Very close to getting things over the top there. Oh, Setup maybe thinking that Elk would go out of the brush, misplaces the soldier, dies anyway. Dragon is now being spawned. Knight has ultimate to steal, and he steals out. The Ash arrow hits onto one Xen, and Bin follows up. The Ash is getting absolutely mullered on the backline as Knight dives in 1v4 and wins the play. Still has himself a Seekers, getting himself cooldown after cooldown. He'll lose his Magi stacks, but I think with the assists and the kills of the fight, he won't walk away losing that many overall. Dragon goes to TT. But yeah, not feeling great for them either. Another assist over towards Knight as well. Even though he dies, I'm reckoning he'll move away with more than 10 stacks anyway. 10 stacks bang on the dot. Happy enough with that one. TT lose all of their members for just Knight. Again, this is one of the reasons why Magi's can be very good. You can die, get a load of stacks, and you don't actually lose that many. You know, he got himself a couple of kills. He got himself a couple of assists after the Magi's was reduced a little bit anyway. Not that it matters. It's still minus 10 either way. Foyer's getting absolutely, he's getting absolutely blasted whenever he's focused down on. You know, Knight chooses to get the Ash ult. I think if he got the Seraphine ult, if he was in range for that, would have been better. Didn't quite have it there, though. Just look how much chain lash damage he gets. Uses the Proto Belt to dodge out on a potential catch of that Encore if that had hit him. Potentially would have just killed him. Knight didn't have the reaction speed, I guess, to flash out of that one, or just choosing not to. Choosing to save the flash. Foyer, I mean, Equalizer was trying to catch out onto Elk. Couldn't quite get him there. Goes down. Going towards the Conqueror Riftmaker build now as well. God, Knight is really fed, as is Elk. Elk going towards the Nash's Tooth next. And Setup just completed the second item. Still quite far behind Knight. The thing about the Magi is very cheap, but also very effective. So you can feel like you get really far ahead of the curve. Knight gonna wait and see maybe if he can just stop the cannon from going down. Or stop it from going up, rather. Yeah, denies the cannon on that top lane turret. It's an extra, 50, 60 gold. Denied. Will he pick up the feather? The plant? Flanson. Oh, there's a Pantheon on the side lane. No flash on the Rumble. Steals the Equalizer anyway. And that's 4 stacks over towards the Magi's. One of the easiest ways to play around it. You just send someone to your lane. This is 7-1-4 silence. This is a solo queue game. TT at 2-0. A team that's been incredibly struggling, playing against their old jungler in Beichuan, who's been a bit of a Judas for them. Yankos knows. Turning over towards a team which they faced off against in Split 1 in group stage, beat them in a best of 5. And Beichuan, largely been a breath of fresh air for BLG in the games that we've seen from him. Not been perfect, of course. BLG have a lot to figure out in terms of their early games, in terms of their drafts, in terms of their ability to deal with curveballs. It feels like they've struggled with that. Atkan started up, of course, the new Thornbound variety. TT, heading towards the top side of the map. In on the flank. Knight coming over. Doesn't have that teleport, but needs to be respectful, and is so. Can steal another ultimate. Again, hasn't stolen that encore just yet. If he does get that, he has the equalizer. That'll be the thing. He can use it into the choke point, and that's a lot of damage. Remember, he's very, very fed. Third of the HP off of a couple of different members. The equalizer 5 back now in turn. Ash Arrow gets stolen by 1xN. The archer from the bot lane. 1xN stealing for the rich and giving to the poor. Robin Hood in all senses of the terms of it. Gonna get taken down too, and BLG might have just died around the Atacon. 1xN, an arrow to the heart. Will go down. It's a 3-kill fight as CT don't lose a single member. BLG, they tank the Atacon for too long. Knight might just be able to fly over the wall onto Saturn. Now, Saturn, you need to be careful there. That he had landed. Oh, Macedonian warfare. Elk comes through. Knight continues to make plays, and with no mana, it's even more Magi stacks towards the Silas of Knight. I love Macedonian warfare. Just both teams come out with a phalanx either side, the pusher pikes. Knight getting the better of setup all game long. 18 stacks on the Magi's. Isn't 1xN the guy who hit 21 out of 22 Ash Arrows? Yes, yes he is. By the way, folks, 1xN has the record in a single game for the highest accuracy of Ash ults in the LPL. 21 out of 22 Ash Arrows hit, believe in summer of last year. The smite's poor, and the Atacon goes over to the other side. Remember now, if you get kills, you get that little, like, damage slow purification effect. You see it there. So it slows onto Elk and Knight there, actually. While we go into live, Xiaohongren has died, and make no mistake, BLG is still ahead of this game. Knight got an assist on that. 20 stacks now. Each stack is 5 AP. On just goes for the random emote while the clone's going through. So he's got 100 AP from that 20 stacks. Plus, I think it's 20 base anyway. So he's got 120 AP off of a very cheap item. Stole on the encore now. Hasn't done that for the rest of this game. Remember, it is very, very broken on Silas. Pushing in heavily towards the spot side. Dragon getting taken by Beichuan on the backside of it. Equalizer for wave clear. I feel like he needed that, actually, because I feel like the next time he walked up to that wave, Knight would have just ulted it. Didn't know Ash Arrow had a splash effect. Well, that's a hell of a way to find out, isn't it? Yep, it scales off of AP. Ash Arrow does have an AoE slow and damage. You can technically steal objectives with it. Even though it doesn't hit the objectives, the splash damage can kill. Of course, Jinx Rocket is one that people tend to see things get stolen with, but yes, a good Ash Arrow can also do the same. Knight close towards what could be Crypt Bloom, could be the Cosmic Drive, more likely as well. Xiaohongren has himself the Titanic Hydra for the very quick knock-up on the Q. I just don't think it's going to matter that much. 10 CS, not 10 CS, 2,000 gold behind Beichuan. 10 CS as well, technically, I guess. He's going towards his third item. 3 items for the Kai'Sa. Has that AP upgrade. Been a better Ambassador game from him than recently. He's been struggling at that pick. I think he was 0-4 for a while on the champion. Oh, the double Cataclysm when you have Silas and J4. I love the double Realm of Death. So if Mordekaiser ults someone, and then Silas ults someone, they both end up in the same area. So you kind of get to do like a tag team battle. It's so funny. It's so great. That one's really cool. What are the other good ones? I mean, there are some which Silas just uses better than you. Like, Nico Ultimate and Silas is disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. Especially when it had more damage and less CC. It was so incredibly high damage. God, that was insane, actually. Silas ult is fun. In fact, Arya, one of my very favorite players of all time, over in the LCP. Hang on a second. On, getting absolutely blown up. That's what the Titanic Hydra does, and the splash damage kills. 1xN, another ultimate, another kill. 1xN, a sniper on the Ashe today. What does the new Atacon buff do? Gives you more value from the Spirit Petals. Gives you one when you kill an enemy champion as well. And also when you get a kill, you get an extra, you get like a little, almost like a storm, storm surge proc around them, which damages and slows. Baron getting gunned down. Lots of HP damage onto it. Silas teleporting back in. What ultimate can he steal? What can he do? Pantheon jumping over, looking for a steal. W lands in. What can Silas do? Silas needs to do something. Steals the Shinzo ult for survivability. Trying to kill off the jungler. They're trying to kill off the jungler, but it still gets claimed by TT and the smite of Xiao Huangren. Mistakes from On potentially leading to a big thing. Knights. A lot of damage to jump over the wall. Goes over, misses the chains. They get 1 kill. But TT winning out in the last couple of plays. 22 stacks on the Medjais. But BLG, strategically speaking, giving up a lot of openings towards TT. Elk, if he'd hit that W, I think he would have killed Setup there, or at least forced the Zhonya's. Not sure he wanted those chains to hit. I think if he hits them, I think he kills, by the way. He has the Zhonya's. Built up a full Cosmic Drive now. Knight is very, very strong. Hang on a second. There could have been all... There could be all-inners on them. So, Pantheon jumps in. I think he actually should have jumped further back. He jumps into a single-line team fight. I think that's a mistake. Knight sadly didn't have the Encore available for this. Uses the Shinzo ult for survivability. It's not quite timed well enough. I think if Pantheon goes very far into the backline, I think it works out a little better. Shiv used to push out the wave here against the Baron buff. BLG is still in a very strong spot. This Sylas is still in a very strong spot. However, Feather, multiple items now. Seraphine starting to scale. 1xN, quite survivable as well. Has the Bloodthirster on top of 2 DPS items to try and stay alive. Azir has a Seekers, harder to kill him now. You saw how much damage randomly Xiao Huangren can do if he gets onto a squishy target. This isn't a free game anymore for BLG. This was a free game. Mistakes from On and from Beichuan, though, leaving this game wide open. Knight, 22 stack Medjais. Herculean effort from him. Steals out the Ash Arrow. Remember, that scales an AP, so Sylas does more damage with it than you do. There is a Mikhail's coming up from TT. Doesn't stop the damage, of course. Might fire it into mid lane now. Beichuan could get an ult over the wall. Chooses not to. Knight, looking to see if he can get an ult over the wall. There is. Lands onto the Seraphine. They don't want to dive deeper. Pantheon pressing the ult, though, and that's a problem. Beichuan, he heard a go button, and all it's done is stopped his heart. BLG lose their jungler again. Misplay by Beichuan. Equalizer now into Elk, who has to flash out of it. Under half HP. Knight has another ultimate to steal. It has that level 16. But what's Knight going to do? The rest of his team just kind of insing. Has the Encore. Mikhail's used by Feather. Half HP from Knight. Just takes a couple of soldiers. Wave click coming through from Elk's W's. Dragon now available. TT can walk the way over. Where's the Encore coming in from? There goes the flash over, and it catches the Azir, and the Nico follows up. Knight setting up the team for success. Goes golden, has a double W after Elk kills the Azir. Knight getting more damage now, will die under the turret. Where's Elk for the rest of this? Tower will just about, no, not quite, take Hoya down. BLG having to rely on Knight's golden left hand to do something. Beichuan, a number of bad players in a row. On tagging on luckily there. Dragon is available, but TT starting to deathball and putting a lot of difficulty into the execution of BLG. Can jump over the wall. Does he blast Cone over? Has no smite to get back out. Teleport coming back in, gets the smite still. Importantly so. 2 dragons for them now. Teleport in for the Ambassador. Answered by Hoya. Didn't want to end up in a 2v3 or a 2v2. Beichuan sparing a blush or two there. A couple of awful ultimates in a row from him. Gold lead still over towards BLG. We'll note that Setab not too far behind individually as the Azir, which says a lot given how much gold Knight has from the amount of kills he has. No, before this, I think the Ash Arrow landed, but it, oh, really good play though from Knight and On. Of course, this lands from the Encore. The Encore is what sets up this play. On gets to fly across a little easier at that point. El gets the assassination. Does leave out the solo laners to dry a little bit, but you have to kill that. You really do have to kill that that Azir. Does make sense. Still 14 stacks in the Medjai. Still a valuable item. It's not below 10, which is where it gets a little less valuable, of course. Knight. We need to see what his last item will be. Well, I don't know. Maybe he needs to go towards the anti-heal item at this point, you know. There's no anti-heal on BLG, which does hurt into the Bloodthirster, into the shields and heals of Seraphine. Very hard to get that clean kill. Might feel that Void Staff or Death Cap is more needed, though. Wasn't Gwen open? Yes, it was. Gwen's been nerfed on this patch, though, worth noting. And, yeah, but Bin chose to pick the Ambessa alongside the Pantheon. I think it was Ambessa Pantheon 2-3 from BLG. which I didn't love as a top jungle combo. Don't think either of them's had a fantastic game. Bechtron was better in the early game, of course. On no flash. One extend no flash as well, though. Important to note. No flash on Ashe can be very important here. Knight, what ult is he going to steal next? Could look for a big shuffle from the Azir. Much easier to get with the flash, of course. Speaking of ours, Seraphine ult extends further based on champions it hits. Yes, including allies. You can cast it through the allied team and the enemy team too. But the more champions it hits, the longer it gets for sure. Xiao Huangren forced to flash out. Oh, no flash of his own. Flash down from Sinzo, that's important. Less chance to reposition himself, less chance to flash knock up the backline. W hitting from Elk. At that 4 item mark, on towards the Zhonya's. Kai'Sa's voice line when you miss a W, by the way. Like, man. Kai'Sa, you're better than this. Stuff like that. He also has a voice line for hitting Ws. That's the amount of effort they used to put into the voice lines. It was really cool. Less so nowadays. Weird seeing Beitron's name is BLG, not TT. I know, right? I know. Really wonder whether Ben should have gone for a Serpent's Fang as well, you know? I think someone needs a Serpent's Fang to get through some of these heals and shields from TT. Another W used to check out a brush alongside the Nico clone. Lands on setup, some damage onto him. Silas pushing out the bot side. BLG playing it a little slower now. Knight pushing in bot lane, can back off. Can teleport technically onto an area in the map. Flanking vision good from TT though. Warded out their own red side jungle. Wild Rift has an anti-shield AP item. Well, we used to... Well, I say that. We don't... Technically, we had that in Shadow Flame, but it wasn't really true. It was still a flat pen item. No one really cared about the anti-shield effect. Felt kind of bad. Problem with going for anti-shield AP items is that typically AP champions are longer range than AD ones. So if Xerath or Victor or something hits it onto you, it's very easy to remove it. TT, I think, are pretty happy with the state of affairs, though. BLG playing it slower just allows TT time to scale. You know, there's a Hex Drink runner, like I say now. Might be a problem, though. Baron gets started. Elk, good Baron damage. Has the AP build and the Rage Blade for the on-hit. Going down very, very quickly. Feather, one extend. Could throw their ultimates out for a bit of disengage. The clone can actually extend the range of it. Baron taken with a minute before the dragon. BLG find the timing window. Good for them. 2 dragons for BLG after the steal from Beitron. Wouldn't be soul coming through from TT. Typically, we see that in this kind of late game trade. Like, oh, it's a Baron for dragon setup or something like that. One extend, misses the ultimate. Normally so accurate. Knight has that E in the protobelt. Definitely helps. Which ult does he want to steal? Shinzo ultimate maybe at this point for survivability. Could go for the Azir ult for maximum playmaking potential. That's probably the biggest individual burst you can get since the AoE on the team. I think he wants the Shinzo ultimate for this fight. I think he wants to be survivable. He does enough damage with his regular abilities. Recall coming in from the Azir, Bin pushing topside. TT trying to death ball, but BLG trying to pull them across the map. Blue buff. Team blue buff claim from TT. Dragon spawning now. TT actually giving up the dragon themselves, feeling like they're not in a position to fight. It's a problem though, because now they're going to have to deal with the Baron buff afterwards. Silas can push in bot side. Going towards what looks like a death cap last item, which is very terrifying for TT. The amount of AP scaling on stuff like the Ashe Arrow, the Seraphine ult, blah blah blah. Very, very high. Hell of a lot of damage. Recall coming in from Knight. Does he have death cap? What does he have? Yeah, death cap coming in. So, if he gets towards a 25 stack Magi's, it's 190 AP about. Before the AP ratio, no, not the AP ratio, the AP buff from Death Cap was toned down a number of patches ago. Did give you over 200 AP as a single item, a Magi's. Of course, it has, what is it, 120 AP base, or is it 140? I think it's 120. Then it gives you the 30% amp. Nasty, nasty. Knight will be doing some hella one-shotting. Pushing up that bot side, minute left of the Baron buff. 2,500 gold earned by BLG from it. TT, again, they're not out of this game. They're not, I mean, I wouldn't say they're happy about the Baron push and the dragon going over, but they didn't give a soul. And they haven't had their base broken open yet. They're still scaling. Death cap almost in for setup. Well, I say that it's 2k behind, so it is a little way off. 1xn, going towards more and Malmortius. Scary item. Ward taken by On. 1xn, feeling safe enough to walk up. Silas pushing on bot side. Equalizer not used from Hoya just yet. Knight not claiming that. Ash Sharon misses again. For how accurate 1xN is, can't quite land onto Knight. Would have been fantastic if he could have got it. What ult does Knight want to steal now? Again, the Shinzao is the one which I thought he might go towards, but any of them have value, of course. Very low cooldown at this point in the game for him picking up different champions' ultimates. You know, fire off an equalizer 10 seconds later, 20 seconds later, rather. He'll have another ultimate to steal. Late game Silas can go through 2-3 ultimates sometimes in extended fights. Hoya trying to push up bot side. Baron now off. TT needs to be very careful for the next minute or so because they want to push out of their base. But they don't know where vision is from BLG, and they don't know where they can get picked off. There's no teleport from Knight, but of course, it's quite quick to roam over towards players with ease, getting over walls, stealing longer range ultimates to join fights quicker as well. This game should have been very free for BLG. They've had a bit of a reality check in that, well, they had it about 15 minutes ago, I guess, at this point. Where Beitran had a couple of bad plays. I think one of them was just a team call where the arrow didn't hit the right target. Beitran still goes in, dies. Hoya's almost flame horizoned, by the way. He's been dropping a lot of farm, so 1xN and setup can get it instead. He has his 2 items, and he's got a little shop of horrors after that. Seekers, Oblivion Orb for the anti-heal. Definitely helpful versus the Silas. And the Ambassador too, I guess. And then, of course, the Nearly Large Rod too. Helping building up towards the Zhonya's proper. Setup needs to be careful here. Knight will one-shot. Uses his Q. Bit scary. A little bit of chip damage onto these inhibitor turrets. Setup has that Zhonya's. Can buy a little bit of time, of course. Elk using that shiv to continually push him waves in mid lane. Knight, yeah, he's just trying to hold off a vision. Seeing how far Setup will walk up. Setup does need to be careful here. Won't work up any further. Right, what does he do now? Waiting to see if anyone else will walk up. Because if you get one random kill, yeah, the game is effectively over. Knight will clear out the wave. TT have information on him. Death cap for the Kai'Sa, by the way. Bit of a mistake there from Elk. Void Staff is actually better for Kai'Sa's damage than the death cap itself, even though your AP ratios are good. Void Staff is way better for your pen. You don't actually have any penetration with this build. And you have Void Staff is such high percent pen. Powerful as hell. Akashi, by the way, Den Akashi. You let me know if you're still in chat, because I did see you redeemed a fun fact. I'll have a couple for you. Huh. Banshee's actually built up. Instead of the Proto Belt for Knight, choosing to forgo for the extra mobility and the HP. Goes towards a higher AP item. 100 AP on the Banshees, and of course the magic resist, very important. Still here. Let me have a think. Did you know that Robin Hood, who I did kind of allude to for 1xN earlier, probably actually wasn't from Nottinghamshire, lived in Sherwood Forest, but likely came from Yorkshire instead, which is a county just north of it. The arrow misses, doesn't catch on to On. 1xN missing 3-4 in a row now. Long game. Dragon spawning now. Ocean Soul on the table for BLG. Clones being used. That's just one cube, by the way. Even On's doing decent damage. Steals out the equalizer and uses it to get a little bit of damage. Remember, the ultimate... Knight could already almost steal an ultimate again. Just use it for the slow. Ocean Soul will come across. And maybe that's the go button. Maybe. Death Ball still coming in. Bin misses the ult. Ah, Bin. That could be a problem. Rumble coming across, and oh my god, Algo almost one shot further. Not bad, ultimate coming through from the Seraphine. Equalizer coming through. Knight goes golden. Bin, he goes down into his GA. You can heal from that a little bit in terms of the Ocean Soul. Bin comes through with a lot of extra healing. Knight has his Shinzo ultimate, pops it, now goes invulnerable. BLG not cleanly finding fights. Knight will have another ultimate to steal if he wants to, but not a clean fight from BLG. The Death Ball from TT stands strong. The heals and shields become very valuable. Baron is alive. Knight will go towards bot side and take out Inhibitor, not wanting to go towards a full Inhibitor push. Wants to recall now and potentially respond towards that Baron. 4 Ocean Dragon, Ocean Soul is a lot of healing. Teleport now coming in from Knight, who chooses not to go back towards base and get a Sorcerer's Pot or something like that. What ultimate can he steal? If he gets the Encore here, it could be game ending. It could be the Azir as well. Knight, what have you got? Takes away the Encore. Oh, this is a problem. Flashes forwards, 1xn. He's getting one shot. Knight has one more cooldown left, and the Ashe is down. Knight lowers the lance and spears it through the heart of TT. The death ball is stabbed into its core, and it is at the hands of Knight that BLG will claim the late game. A little bit of clowning around from BLG from a couple of members, but Knight at 9-2-9. Finishing off the game with a 22-stack Magi's has carried his team towards the Nexus. TT unable to take game one against their Judas traitor of a jungler, Baytron, on the other side. Made it look a little bit obvious, I suppose, with some of those ultimates. Difficult game from Baytron at points. TT locked in towards the scaling Death Ball, but the Death Star had an emergency weakness in the exhaust port, which Knight finds and obliterates. May the fourth be with you. Like stuff like the Yone Sejuani can be very powerful. Hovering over, different picks. Or wait until it's locked in. And it is the Yone. Knight going towards that engaging champion in the mid lane. Good side lane matchup versus the Cho'Gath and the Ahri. Yes, the Cho'Gath can silence you, but I don't know. Don't feel like you feel very happy with that matchup. They're all the same. Knight can also pop in and pop out of play. It's quite hard to stop the Yone from pinging out. Even though there were nerfs to the E, so you carry through the CC duration after your E. You don't cleanse it with your E anymore. Crowd. A little bit more awake now here in Shanghai. I believe it's in Shanghai. First series today would have been in Xi'an for WE's Arena. Is Emax Ahri better than W nerfs? I mean, so if you... Well, it doesn't change anything because Ahri already did E and W tandem max seconds. So you go Q into, then you split points between your W and E. What I tend to do is I go max my Q and then I put a point into E and then match with my W after. So I go E, W, E, W, W after that point, you know. But that's been the case for a long time. We've often seen Ahri's go 3 points E just to increase the CC duration. Helps quite a lot. Arrow lands onto Elks, going for the Comet version. Crash down comes through. Uses that shield to trade onto Feather. Doesn't get the CC. Ignite comes down though. Fourth shot coming through, and that's the execute damage. Feather in a bit of trouble. Flashes over. Does have the mount up coming up soon. Elk can get himself that last auto. 1xn and Feather vastly underestimate the damage coming through from the Jin's execute damage of the fourth shot. Yes, if you're wait, you saw Chovy full max E after Q? You can do, but then at that point you lose a lot of cooldown on your W. Your W feels quite bad at rank 1. Setup, getting the electrocute early on. First levels of the game where you really need to get an advantage is the Ahri versus the Yone, if you want to kind of keep up individually. After that, it feels like if you don't get that, you're relying on your teammates to set up angles for you to get early kills, and then, you know, get a little bit more. Lands the Morning Mist onto Hoya, wants to get that Q onto him as well. Gets the Grasp block. Hoya also has Grasp. And he is healing off of the ghouls, so you do get a bit of healing from the ghouls. The problem is, later on, the healing doesn't mean enough, basically. Doesn't mean enough, and even though you heal off the ghouls, Yorick has so much damage he doesn't care. Kyle gaps Lahens right now. Depends on which series it's coming through from. I think the Kyle is the best support in the LPL by a mile. But he isn't without his off games too. He's had a couple more of them recently than I would have liked. How does Maiden interact with Cho'Gath ult? I believe you... That's a good question. Do you get infinite stacks off of? There was a point before where you can like ult Tibbers and stuff like that and you'd get more value from it. Knight really wants to farm out with Q here. Wants to wait for the Q stacks to come off. Dodges out on that. Gets the shield from his Spirit Cleave. Nice. That could have been a kill trade actually from setup if he lands that charm. Didn't, sadly. Mount up from Elkanon. Baytron coming down to level 4. Spots that Xiao Huangrun. So the problem with someone like the Viego, kind of struggles to play the game if your lanes are losing. You can't be like a Shinzao. If you were a Shinzao here, you could fight. You can't really do that with the Viego nearly as easily. Feather doesn't have flash for a wall stun, even though he has levels 3 and really wants to make good use of that. So it's going to be a double scuttle from Baytron. Bot lane's wave stay, I mean, it's pushing out towards Elkanon too, so they don't get the best value from that either. Kind of rough for TT. Beatrice's going to get double scuttle. He'll go back for a, because he gets that double scuttle, you know, be able to very easily go back and get the Fated Ashes. Knight goes into mid lane, have that mid lane push. Loses a couple of minions for the ability to push up the wave and allow Beatron to get himself a full back. He'll get full Fated Ashes now. Very happily so. Gets a control ward too, which is nice for him. Often you don't expect that extra control ward to come through from the back. One Extend and Feather, they get themselves the push now, but it's too late. They get the push in the lane after the Scuttle Crab's gone, and after Xiao Huangren wanted to be on bot side to fight. Bin winning the individual matchup here, and yes, again, will be healing pretty well, but again, Yorick just has infinite damage. Doesn't matter. You know, you said it is a given to max Q on Ahri. It's actually not always the case in case you're going hybrid or AD. I mean, the hybrid builds are kind of dead, but going W max with AD is better for the base damage. It gives you the mobility you're looking for. Oh man, like, gets caught in the jar of possession, lands that Q. Could actually turn around for a kill now. Flashes out instead. Been too much damage. Ghoul's coming through to a hell of a lot of value there. And this is as good as the matchup gets, by the way. And it doesn't get particularly easy up. Q ranks from Yone means you can farm it pretty well. Good farming by Knight on the whole. Loses just the one. 5 CS lead for Ahri, who has the Dark Seal in inventory, wants to snowball. The problem is, Xiao Huangren is behind, is not going to hit an early level 6. Won't be able to be set up for. On. Gets himself the Q stun. W is available from Feather, uses it now. Great Q flash coming through from Beichuan. His Lilia have been very impactful in the past in the Ignite. And the Dream Dust takes the kill. Beichuan using the Lilia he carried TT with for so much success to kill them instead. Legit, I know legit career. 3 points Q into W max. I mean, if you're going AD, you don't want to max. You don't want to max your Q at all. In fact, sometimes you don't put a single point into it because you only want it for Sheen procs sometimes. If you're going for a Sheen, then yeah, you pick up the Q. Knight has that level 6. Could technically set up now, but likely on the ult for ult. Charm comes through. Dragon taken by TT on the bot side. Grove spawning in a minute, so we're likely to see recalls and resets to contest for that or respond to it. Hoya doesn't have flash now, remember, and there's an ult coming through from Beitron when he needs it. Might not even need it. I don't think they even need it. He's gonna die. Another kill participation over towards the Lilia. The Blooming Blows and the Dream Dust. The Dream-laden Bow. Killing Cho'Gath. Hoya, I don't know. I think at this point, this game gets very, very hard. Is there a reset coming through from bot lane to protect top lane turret? No. He does have that Maiden. He can walk up towards the turret, probably take 1, maybe 2 plates. He has the Demolish. Maybe even will get that just clean too. Yeah, and this is before the Grubs even spawn. Beitron's going to clear through them, keep himself up in his clear speed. 30 seconds till the Grubs. 2 plates cleanly, and Bin is almost 1,000 gold ahead. Oh, it's only 500 gold. Okay, I lied. It's 400 gold. But hey, it's a lot, isn't it? Bramble Vest now in for Hoya, but not sure he's feeling that happy about things all the same. Ahri going top lane, Cho'Gath going bot lane. Bot lane's moved into mid. Grub spawning now. Bin won't be able to spend the gold he just earned. But he is on top side. Beitron still has his ult importantly, so we can use that to get a big play coming through. You get that sleep, it sets up for pretty much an instant play from Knight. Yorick very good at clearing through Grubs. Ahri's coming down, not on the best angle. Where's the setup? You need Feather to do something. You need a flash wall stun. Get onto Elk if you can. He has plans and flash. Maybe onto Knight instead. One's already down. Ah, and it's a flash onto the Ahri. Dead setup. Flashes and dies anyway. Double Swirl Seed. And that'll lead to a double ultimate. They'll kill down the jungler. Viego sent back from whence he came into the mists. And there'll be no smite available for the Grubs. 3 Grubs from BLG. Cho'Gath gets 1. Well, he doesn't even get a measly plate in bot side. None of those plates over towards them. BLG, clean early game. Beitron, clean early game. 1,000 gold ahead in top side, 700 gold in jungle. Bot lane's doing fine. Mid lane is going to get better. Knight, as soon as you get ahead in this matchup as the Yone, can have a hell of a lot of agency across the game. Beitran really helping his team out in the early game, though. Beitran MVP for the early game so far. On great catch onto the RE. Just where was the setup? Feather needed to be further up. Ends up getting tagged by the Swell Seed too. Maybe Viego should have ulted back. Oh, I thought it was the Viego though. Oopsies. It was the Poppy. Oopsies. I thought it was the Viego. Well, whatever. Whereas normal AP builds, he likes it because of Blackfire Torch and Lich Bane. So W ends up having more value than Q for him. It's easier to land the W as well, right? But you lose out on a lot of wave clear when you do that on the with W over Q, which is a problem. Better for dueling, I suppose. But yeah. So, 2 minutes till Dragon, not really close by, is it? Elk has Dirk and Boots. Almost Triforce for Bin, going towards a Hex Drinker as well, stopping off of that potentially before the Triforce completion against the double AP solo lanes. Oh wait, hang on, no, I lied, it's probably Merc Treads instead, isn't it? Goes down that Dark Procession. Knows he's not 100% safe on top side. With Lilia there, potentially is. Hoya will get a plate back with the Demolish. Sheriff gets lots of value from that, of course. Beitran using these Swell Seeds to check the brush. Then drops half a wave, just being safe on that. Kills a ward. Setup just uses a lot of cooldown. That's a problem. Lands the charm. Goes into the Spirit Cleave. And now the problem is Setup is actually within kill threat range. He needs to be careful here. He has no flash. It's a little slow to get out of a Yone ultimate with just your ultimate. Dark Procession lands. Morning Mist gets the slow into it. Bin. It's a good chunk onto Hoya. Of course, Hoya heals up a little bit from those minions, as we were saying before. Can use that auto attack reset to kill the Dark Procession pretty quickly. This is a problem though. He has flash. Is he gonna have to use it? I think he might have to. I don't know if it'll even matter. Flashes and dies. Hoya puts to bed. Send him to the morgue. Yorick knows the way. How many plates are you gonna get from this? He has Demolish to use on tower. Has the Sheen proc. One plate is gonna go down. It's gonna be potentially another on top. No one's roaming to help this. Hoya will be able to teleport to save the tower, I presume. I mean, is this going to be full tower? Hoya can teleport in. I wondered if the tower would die before he could even reach that. Very, very close to being full kill. Double teleports from TT solo lane is used. One from Ari to protect bot. One from Cho'Gath to protect top lane. Ben can recall. He has his flash back up. Dragon coming back up unavailable. He'll go back for a full Triforce if he wants to. Beitran has ultimate still. Very, very strong with the Leandri's completion. First item completed in the game. Good catch out on. W comes up. That's a dead Rel. Reset comes through. That's important because that's a good amount of basic cooldowns to come through. Good damage from the Jhin though. And the fourth shot is going to do a lot. Tags onto Setup and very nearly kills Bin Season right the way underground, 6 feet under. Viego not resetting anymore, and Knight joins for the last kill of the fight, which is given over towards Bin. Teleport up towards top side, so Hoya can't even get himself that much more. I'll get hit by a Q. Just be a little bit careful here, actually. It could be in ult range from Hoya. He'll be safely wave clearing out. BLG have very cleanly dispatched of TT in this early game. Knight with the pot ticking and the Vamp Scepter heals up a little bit more. Needs to be a little bit careful with the 1v1. On is on the top side. Does have himself flash. Hoya doesn't have flash, and that could be... yeah, it could be an issue, couldn't it? Knight just want to stack up his cube. Walks forwards. Wants to make sure he doesn't get CC through. Understands the threat that Cho'Gath can bring towards him. Stacks up his Q, goes back towards Z, has one last knockup available, flip back into it, and Cho'Gath goes down, ults out of frustration, and can't kill the Yone. Yeah, Banana, it was a quick 2-0. Well, it was a... Yeah, we had a longer game one here, went a little bit late game. First game was quite quick in the first series, and the second game was a Nexus to Nexus, as FPX failed to kill the Nexus, and got ran back at, and they died. 2,000 gold for Yorick in the side lane. 1.2k for mid lane matchup as well, but that's largely not come out of the actual Ahri matchup. This is the problem with stuff like Ahri Viego. You want your team to be winning so you can make plays for them and set up for them a lot of the time. Or at least tag on to the winning side of the play. God, that was a lot of damage. Lilia burn came through and tagged on extra onto that. Spin stacks him into stops Feather short as well. Will I co-stream MSI on here too? I mean, I can ask for the MSI co-streaming rights. I hope. I don't know. I mean, I've never been given international viewership before. So I doubt it. And which is sad, but I've never been in contact with Riot co-streaming sites, really. LPL is not ran by Riot, by the way, now. It's technically ran by China again, which is why there's no broadcast. I mean, I can figure out the co-streaming as for MSI. I can figure that out. No, I'd like to. I'd like to do it. Because, let's be honest, I've cast 1,000 LPL games. I doubt many people know more than me about this. I mean, there's like, I Will Dominate, right? And a couple of the other co-streamers, which were a lot of it. There's something about casting which does kind of fully bake in the knowledge into your brain, though. I can remember random bits and niches of either of these teams from any number of games. L takes an arrow from Onyx M. First pick Varus. Don't think it's been the problem. Just that hasn't really been able to leverage off of much. What did TT do with solo laners this far behind? Slows. Dark Procession, and the fourth shot is going to hit like a truck. And sends him down the highway to hell. Bin gets some damage down, and Hoya is caught again. Double swirl seed. Viego does have that ultimate to potentially disengage. Chooses not to. Satab and Xiao Huangren forced backwards. Easy kill for BLG. Satab using the last of the ults. It gets flipped back anyway. Greedy Fox, who gets put out of the hen house and into the coffin. BLG will send their top lane to bot lane. Herald is alive. And they'll be able to take that. Spawns at 15 minutes now, of course it does. Top side, 4-man unit. Xiao Huangren is around. Gets a little bit of damage down on. Actually, he's in a bit of trouble here. Ultimate through from Xiao Huangren could be a problem, but he's taken a ton of damage too. Yone can click back out from that Poppy ultimate, so that didn't really matter much. From Feather, Beitram, still a lot of damage. If he hits that swell scene, could have killed. Doesn't have flash right now. And actually, TT arm wrestle their way towards what looks like a full Herald secure. Good for them. BLG still have the feats of strength. Been vaguely buffed on this patch. Do the MSI World Casters ask you about LPL or LJL? Largely no. Largely no. In the past, there have been some... So, for instance, Vedius asked me about LPL for this first stand. LGL, I used to reach out to them to give them information. It was a bit hard to actually get that information to them. I don't know why. But largely, no, that wasn't the case. A lot of people didn't want to ask about LGL, I don't think. Because they were only in there for... Because it doesn't apply towards the main stage, right? It's only for play-ins. Knight could be in a bit of trouble here. Has the flash. All coming through from setup. Lands the charm. Ult out. I mean, he's dead anyway. Knight's pushed up way too far. Don't know why he thought he was safe there. Tons of vision on top side. Okay. 1xN. Has cleanse. But it doesn't stop you from taking damage in the slows. Ooh, fourth shot miss. Tower starts to get shredded down. BLG lose their mid laner. Knight a little bit overpushed in that top side. Objective bounty actually taking to the top side. Mid lane tower falls down. Huh. Just break into Caedrel's house? Damn. Yeah, I'm sadly I don't know if I'd be able to control the rats in the way that he does. Yeah, no, every so often I get asked about things, but it's quite a rare thing. I think it's not that common. Well, I don't know. Maybe they just ask other casters, for instance. Maybe there's a... Because I'm not the only LPL caster out there, right? Some people would ask for I Will Dominate or whatever. So yeah, I'm not going to get too elitist about it, right? I think there are some times where, you know, I'd wished I'd been able to give a storyline over because I've been trying to build that on my own streams or regionally. But that's... You know, there's no obligation to do that, and the casters are very good at what they do. I always want there to be more stuff for LPL, so there's always going to be a... And LGL too, for sure. I love my Japanese players. Dragon is now spawned. Oh yeah, Caedrel reached out for a video on last year for play-ins about the Hawks, so he did ask about that. So he did that for that. That was the only time I was asked about the Hawks, actually, I think. That was cool, though. Nice to talk about LGL again. Haven't managed to do that for a while. Setup hanging in the brush. Vision control for Setup and TT in that bush definitely helped them, but they're just so much weaker on the map. 5k down. Wrong terrain for them too. Very hard for them to fight around Dragon when their backs are against the wall. Wall's still onto Knight. Means that Feather's not actually doing anything at the Herald Dragon itself, though. Yeah. Red buff taken by Bin. It's the solo red buff, of course, not the team red buff yet. It needs to be at 25 minutes for that to spawn. Is BLG actually looking good, or is it TT not looking that good? It's a bit of both. I think last game we saw some of the foibles of BLG when plan A goes wrong. Sometimes Beitran and On can fall a bit apart, and we've seen that again. We saw that in their first game, actually, with Beitran coming into the roster. That being said, you know, Knight's been playing well. Bin's been playing quite well today too. His ambassador was better than I normally expect from him. Elk, 2.5 items. He's 1.6k ahead. Sets hasn't been given a lot of the side lane farm from TT and some of the side lane turret kills as well, so he has actually crept ahead in that individual matchup. On the other side, side lanes have been very much prioritized for the Yorick, who's meant to be that side laning god. Has that Shojin now. Start stacking up on that Atacon. Remember BLG threw at Atacon the last time. Beitran could flash forward for a Q. Having that flash is really nasty here. Poppy ult. What's it going to land onto? No one. Ah, Feather. That's the problem. Barrisol comes through. Atacon is secured. Bin, a lot of damage onto him. He was shredded by the Atacon too, and the Curtain Call will cover the retreat from BLG. Don't think they're looking for a fight after this. They claim the Atacon, and they're out. Beitran. Well, there was a chance he flashed over and did something funky. Doubt it was going to work out there. You can Q over the wall, E over the wall. Hoya's Cho'Gath has not left a lot to be desired, has it? Or rather, it's left a lot to be desired. Been slaughtering him in the 1v1. Pretty sure Knight with the Blade of the Ruin King also does that now. Knight stacking up the Q, not using the E because he wanted to get that continued chase down. Steps out. And the Cho'Gath... What's this Cho'Gath brought to their team? 0 and 5 Cho'Gath in top lane. Hoya has picked himself into the Yorick and done absolutely nothing with it. Knight might get charmed here. Does. Good damage onto him. Half the HP. Knight could still technically ult forwards. Oof. Quick QW back. Flips out before the tower shot tags him backwards. 2 levels up on setup, by the way. Ooh, that's a problem. Knight flashes, gets the ults, and Feather flashes in for a play which doesn't work. Knight gets the E back, gets out safely. Feather having a bad game on the Poppy. TT looks so mental boomed. BLG toying with their food at this point. This should be a quick one. Bin takes a full inner turret on the top side. I say that, the 3 grub buff. Not quite able to take it down with the DOT. Elk, with a 4th shot. A little bit extra damage. He'll take down the bot lane inner turret, though. And the tower's gone. So that's 8,000 gold ahead. BLG ahead in every role. You do have a reset comp coming through from TT. It's just not enough. Flash ult forwards. And you know, while this all is happening, I was about to say Beitran. It's not. It's not Beitran. He's on the other side now. Xiao Huangren. 0 and 2 on the Viego. Can't do much for himself. Now, gone towards that collector second. Typically helps you get towards those resets. Your ult scales off of crit chance, which does mean you get some extra damage through from the collector. Still not great to play in towards mid and late game. Lord Dominus Regards is very, very strong later on with the crit chance and just the percent pen. Very, very nice. Even though you get less base AD. Dragon in 40 seconds. 3rd Dragon and Sold point for BLG. Yorick pushing in top side. Yone pushing in bot side. 1-3-1 sets up. Both of them have teleports. Both of them obscenely fed. Both of them have wards behind TT to do something. Knight backing off a little bit earlier this time. Good for him. Good for him. Good for him. Top lane inner turret taken was only on a sliver of HP. Beitran could flash in for a Q. Oh, and he doesn't even need to. 3-man sleep coming through. Xiao Huangren escapes out of the play, but I don't think the rest of his teammates will. Yone dies, though. Chomp goes on to him. Knight goes a little T. Bin choosing not to go anywhere. Going towards the top side. And instead, choosing to go towards an inhibitor. Teleport towards the base, as Ari needs to go and regen. Xiao Huangren start hit up by that Q. That could be a bit of a problem. 1xN does have some damage. Flash away from the Lilia. Cho'Gath has just died somewhere in the play, by the way. I'd imagine that was with just Elk getting a long-range shot off of something. So Yone dies. Inhibitor turret is down. Full inhibitor down, excuse me. And the dragon goes to BLG. This is not a close game. This is not a close game at all. Hoya does get at least 1 kill to look. The scoreboard looks, I mean, slightly better. Turns out the LPL has both sides of Baus here. Sometimes you are the crazy top player. Hang on, a problem. Ah, that's a problem. Wasn't even full HP. Now he's definitely not. Goes down to 0. Hoya, yeah, really struggling in this game. Really, really struggling. I say it's the both sides of Baus. He hasn't built Rift Maker, so it's not really true, is it? So what happens here? On triple stun, triple ult coming through as well. Xiao Huangren ults forwards and gets the cleanse onto it, but he's basically out of the fight at that point. Yone does go too far. Just perma CC, gun down. Definitely doesn't help that the... Wait, what happens here? Does he just walk up and auto-attack him? I guess he does. I guess he just auto-attacks him, folks. Blam. Atkan helps you with the extra damage after that kill. Well, not on the single kill. Knight, as he's silenced, does have his ultimate. Hanging around a little bit longer. Choosing not to use it. Hoya. Bullet sponge. The Elk. Bin. Completely taking the bot side inhibitor. For some reason, Viego is the one that's been sent back to deal with him. Viego does not win that matchup. So 2 inhibitors taken by Bin. He's had a storming game in the Yorick. Solo kills galore. Side lane pressure galore. He's my MVP. Besides Beichuan, I think both of them have been doing well. Baron getting gunned down. Lilia makes up for this Baron speed, which Jhin doesn't have. On making sure that the Baron damage debuff not applied towards either of them at different points. And they'll get themselves an easy Baron. Waiting for the first pro player to ego pick Aurelia into Yorick blind. The thing is, ever since the ghoul changes, Aurelia, I don't know if she one-shots the ghouls anymore with the Q, because it used to be... So they changed it so champion auto-attacks don't one-shot ghouls anymore. I'm not sure if Aurelia can one-shot the ghouls at all stages in the game in the way that she did before. That was one of the big changes. Yorick, the reason why he came into meta is ghouls are more consistent, and while they do less damage, they're cleared less easily, and you bring them up slightly quicker as well. Even if you miss CS, things that die around you give you the much more easy. Xiao Huangren, he's going to have to ult out of this. He might still die, actually. Ghouls jump forwards and they kill. Gets the slow for the Atkan onto Hoya as well. Oh, it's a disaster. We're going to have to open up a new mortuary plot, because the ground here is getting full of bodies. Yone goes down again for reasons unbeknownst to me. Elk cancels his ultimate. Sleep comes through from Beitron. Bin jumps forwards and gets even more damage. The Jhin W out of range. And Bin walking forwards does not care. Charm into the fountain. Very nearly gets him aggro. But his ghouls help out. And a 4th shot will end this game. It is a 4-game day today. Nice, quick, and easy. BLG cleaning up a quick 2-0. And TT sent home, sent packing by their jungler Beitron, who joined the other side of the rift.